That's right, I'm back, ladies and gentlemen. After my long hibernation, I've finally awoken and ready to grind out more content than before. Now, we all know June marked 30 years of Sonic the Hedgehog, and which better way to celebrate it than to talk about a Sonic game, a well-known Sonic game, that never saw the light of day in my new show, Killed in Action, where we look at games that never saw the light of day or miraculously managed to sell on the shelves. The year is 1994, and Sega released Sonic 3 to critical and commercial success. And Sega was looking for ideas for the next big installment in the Sonic series. But at the time, Sonic team were busy working on Nights into Dreams for Sega Saturn. So they gave the job to Sega Technical Institute, or STI for short, who already helped with the development of Sonic 2 and 3. So what could possibly go wrong, right? Now, the gauntlet has been thrown down, and development for the next big Sonic game has begun. During the development of Sonic 3 and Knuckles, the developers tried to implement 3D graphics, but due to the limitations of the Sega Genesis, this idea was scrapped. Luckily, with technical advances, the developers wanted to make a new, different Sonic experience, something that would serve as a successor to the previous side-scrollers. Platformer for the 32X. Now, enter Sonic Mars, named after the 32X's codename. The title was quickly changed to just Sonic 32X to match the name of the add-on. Plane. And developers already made a document for the game before being aware of the add-on's limitations. Oh, it was by this time that Yuji Naka flew to America to check the team's progress. And after one look at the project, he just shook his head and said, "Good luck." So that is the first oof right there, and certainly not the last. So, with the console's limitations and the 32X quickly dying out and being proved to be a dumb novelty, it was a good move to shift development to the upcoming Sega Saturn. Now enter Sonic X-Treme, the big Sega Saturn experience, and Sonic's true jump into the third dimension, and eventually the Sega Saturn's savior. Remember that now. After the move to the Saturn, STI were given a Saturn dev kit and were split up into two groups. One team, led by Sen and Alon, had the job of making the main levels, with the new level editor Sen and Alon built to help construct the new levels, while the other team, led by STI Tech Director Robert Morgan and programmer Chris Coffin, worked on the 3D roaming boss levels, and for some reason, the forgotten Sonic character Fang the Sniper or Knack the Weasel was planned to make a boss appearance. Another weird thing was that they were freakishly large compared to Sonic. Okay, now, back to the main point. The levels were implemented by being made on PC and then ported to the Saturn, but the music and backgrounds could not be coded in the editor, and had to be coded manually for each level, making development more time consuming. But this wasn't all bad, as most enemies and characters were pre-rendered sprites similar to Donkey Kong Country, saving up resources. And of course, I shan't forget the plot. There were several ideas for the game's plot, such as Sonic having to restore the 7 Rings of Power Robotnik stole from newcomers Tiara and a scientist's father, Professor What's-His-Face. Another plot was that Sonic was infected by Eggman's Doom virus and needed to track him down so Sonic could cure himself. The final plot was Robotnik building the Death Egg, much bigger than any other planet, that it could literally rip apart any world's gravity, to a point where Sonic and company must stop him. But problems started to rise again, as splitting STI into teams was just not enough, because during this time of the development, executive producer and team lead of the project, Michael Kosaki, resigned, meaning that Chris Zen had to take his place, which was not a good position, as Chris had little experience in leadership, putting more fuel into the fire. When interviewed, producer Mike Wallace had to say this: "We had artists doing art for levels that hadn't even been concepted. We had programmers waiting and waiting and waiting until every minute of detail had been concepted out, and we had designers doing whatever the hell they wanted. It was a mess because of internal politics, and the art director had trained his art team to hate the designers and programmers. It was even more difficult to get any work done." So that speech made it dead clear development was going out of control. And even during this chaotic period of development, multiple game designs were being made. At one point, 4 different game modes were being planned and added, with Sonic navigating levels with a fisheye lens camera, which is pretty stupid if you ask me. Like, imagine playing a game through a telescope. You're looking at one. Anyways, Mr. Tails' power was to engage in first-person flight gameplay, whilst Knuckles was to feature in top-down overhead levels, where he would navigate the way. And Amy Rose and Tiara Booby Bopper What's-Her-Face were briefly considered to star in traditional 2D side-scrolling levels. Unfortunately, the Windows programming method those levels were built under proved to be disastrous. When they tried implementing these levels to the Saturn, it was just too stressful and time-consuming. So STI brought in a 13 to help them. Point of view. But surprise, surprise, this only added insult to injury, and things were really falling apart. And with a tight deadline around the corner, the team were working themselves to the very bone, with some even moving into the office so they could work day and night. That, my friends, is determination. But after seeing an early build of Nights into Dreams Sonic's team was working on, some Sonic X-Treme developers felt the tech used for Nights into Dreams was what Sonic X-Treme really needed. So when they asked Sega of America for the dev tools and code, they said yes, and development was back on track again. But wait, when Yuji Naka heard about this, he was furious. So furious, in fact, that he threatened to leave Sega if they didn't stop using his engine. Chris Zen responded to this by saying, "Personally, I can understand Naka's interest in keeping technology his team developed under tight control. Sonic was a franchise he clearly felt should be handled solely by Sonic Team. He must have felt very strongly about it if he was willing to even threaten to quit. And that length, my friends, just shows how serious Mr. Naka felt about this decision. And these shenanigans costed the team 2 weeks of development. And is it me, or does anyone else hear a clock ticking?
It's time to stop!
In May of 1996 at E3, Sega finally showed a playable demo of Sonic X-Treme to the public to show fans that yes, it still existed, and yes, it was still in development, and that everything was under control. It was not really under control behind the scenes. The E3 demo used a previously mentioned Coffin's engine, but behind the scenes, things were not going so well. Team morale was out of hand, and team members were being laid off, and some were becoming extremely ill, with developer Chris Sen being told he had only 6 months to live. But thankfully, he made a full recovery. It was dead clear by this point that the 2-month deadline was impossible, leaving producer Mike Wallace no choice but to cancel the game. After the cancellation, some members of the dev team felt the game would have been finished if they were given more time. But this never happened, and even after the game cancellation, the hits just kept on coming, as Sega of America later disbanded Sega STI, making it defunct. Sega never officially announced the game was canned, and said it was just delayed. But after a while, Sonic fans put 2 and 2 together and later realised Sonic X-Treme was dead. But to make the cancellation sting a little less, Sega and Traveller's Tales, the folks who make the modern LEGO games, dumped a quick port of Sonic 3D Blast to the Sega Saturn. And of course, the cancellation of Sonic X-Treme was a big blow to the Sega Saturn. But our story doesn't end quite here. And if you think I've done,
But I'm not done yet!
I bet you didn't know that before the Sonic the Hedgehog movie, Sega had plans of bringing the Hedgehog into the screen back in the early 90s. In August of 1994, Sega of America signed a deal with Metro Goldwyn Mayer and Treasury Entertainment to produce a live-action film based on Sonic the Hedgehog. But what does this have anything to do with Sonic X-Treme, you may ask? Well, the film was meant to tie into Sonic X-Treme. In May of 1995, screenwriter Richard Jeffries pitched to Sega what was known as Sonic the Hedgehog Wonders of the World. The pitch saw Sonic and Robotnik escape from Sonic X-Treme's world into our world, but due to Sonic X-Treme's cancellation and none of the companies being able to come up with an agreement, the film died along with the game. And finally, we've reached the end of the video. Of course, I'll be talking about more cancelled games in the future, and I'll try to upload more often in the future while I can. And for more content like this, like and subscribe. This is EnderSmite-EX signing off.